Exactly 4 minutes to the top of the hour. I am Musa Salah and thank you for choosing TV47 News Tonight to inform you. These are the top stories. Tonight.
Ningependa serikali itoe hii mambo ya half term. Iwe tu watoto wakifunga shule tutafute kwa hiyo mwezi moja ili watoto warudi.
Government announces midterm break for primary school pupils.
Teachers know how to deal with students. They cannot kill them. They cannot do very bad things to them.
As parents now advocate for introduction of corporal punishment. Also tonight, 5 people dead following Kalaza outbreak in Tharaka Nithi County as tens of others continue to receive treatment.
Ati sijui wanataka kutufukuza. Mnatufukuza kutoka wapi na nyinyi tayari mlienda ODM? Bure kabisa hiyo watu.
And we will tell you why the Jubilee marriage may officially be over. Alright, welcome to the broadcast. Minimbesa is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight begins right now. The Ministry of Education has resolved to grant primary school learners a 3-day midterm break just a day after allowing the same for the secondary school students. And as Andrin Kilemi now reports, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha is set to appear before Parliament to discuss the wave of unrest in schools.
Primary school pupils will now join their counterparts in high school for the midterm break that is scheduled to begin in 2 weeks' time. The Ministry of Education in a circular on Tuesday announced that learners would take a 3-day break from school following the unrest in schools.
So that circular is for all children, and by the grace of God on the 19th of this month, all children go home. The ones in boarding schools, even the ones in day schools, they stay at home with their parents.
In just 2 weeks, at least 10 schools have been set ablaze by students. The latest incident is that of Eldoro Girls High School in Taita Taveta County and Amabuko Secondary School in Kisii County. Other schools that have reported cases of arson include Kahuhia Girls High School in Murang'a, Buruburu Girls in Nairobi, Indangalasia Secondary School in Kakamega, and Chavakali Boys High School in Vihiga County. Students of Chavakali High School are reported to have gone on rampage 4 days after they set a dormitory on fire. The irate students broke classroom windows and school buses after they were allegedly denied time for entertainment. This forced the administration to close the school for an indefinite time. This as Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General Turkana Branch Peter Ewat urged the government through the Ministry of Education to reintroduce corporal punishment in schools.
Teachers know how to deal with students. They cannot kill them. They cannot do very bad things to them.
At the same time, parents have faulted the government for allowing students to break for midterm, saying they are burdened financially.
Hatuna budget ya kila siku.
Ningependa serikali itoe hii mambo ya half term. Iwe tu watoto wakifunga shule tutafute kwa hiyo mwezi moja ili watoto warudi.
School heads and administrators have been urged to introduce programs that will educate learners ways in which they can respond to emergencies such as fires. Andrina Kilemi, TV47.
Well, away from education, let's take a look at some politics. Deputy President William Ruto now says he has moved on, dressing down the Jubilee Party National Management Committee that had threatened to discipline rebel members in the party. Ruto has at the same time blamed the Uhuru Raila handshake of derailing Jubilee's Big Four agenda. Deputy President William Ruto pitched tent in Murang'a and Kiambu counties on Wednesday to popularize his hustler narrative in his bid to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta next year. Speaking during Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi's homecoming ceremony in Kimbo, Ruto and his allies criticized the ruling Jubilee Party's management committee for plotting to expel them from the party in a planned National Delegates Conference set to take place next month.
Wanajitayarisha kuate kututoa kwa chama. Sisi tuliondoka kitambo, hatuko kwa hiyo chama, tuliachia Morathe na Bwana Tuju na Tuori.
And I want to tell them we are tired of their intimidation and blackmail, and we have no business. We are not in the business of buying Jubilee as a scrap metal. They can go ahead and sell to Jubilee to ODM. We have moved forward and established one of the largest political party in Kenya called UDA.
Ile ilikuwa chama ilisabaratika, na waache kudanganya Wakenya wanafukuza watu hiyo chama. Hiyo chama hakuna mbunge hata mmoja ambaye amebaki hapo.
La nyinyi nataka munihakikishie, nyinyi mulihama Jubilee ama bado mko Jubilee?
Yaliyopita si ndwele, tugange yaliyomo na yafanya nini? Si tayari tumeshajipanga? Si tuko na chama? Chama ni gani? Na form si ni Hustler Nation, na mpango si ni bottom up. Bado tuko na shida. So hao watu wengine waendelee na kusubaa shauri yao.
On Monday, the committee confirmed that negotiations between Jubilee and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's Orange Democratic Movement on a possible alliance in 2022 are at the advanced stages. Deputy President William Ruto has, however, continued to point an accusing finger to Odinga for allegedly disrupting Jubilee's development agenda.
Sasa ametoroka pwani, anasema amekuja kupanda mlima. Ataweza kweli?
Ya Uhuru 10 ya Ruto. Sisi ni wangwana bwana. Sisi Wakikuyu ni wangwana, si ndio? Sisi si watu wa kuongea uongo.
Rais mstaafu Daniel Arap Moi alitengeneza project, ilikuwa inaitwa Project Uhuru, ikakataliwa na watu ya Kenya. Mwaka huu tumefika saa hii, wanatengeneza project ingine inaitwa Project Raila, vile ilikataliwa mwaka yule ndio ikataliwa.
Wakati rais aliheshimu yule jamaa mwingine wa kitendawili, akamualika na huku kwetu, akafika hapa, mambo ikaharibika.
The leaders advanced the deputy president's hustler narrative, Ruto promising to rebuild the economy.
Mpango ni nini? Mpango ni bottom up. Hii bottom up ambayo inakuja ni ya kuinua nyinyi directly kutoka pale chini, mupewe pesa za kufanya kazi.
Yani mambo ni bottom up ama mnataka tungoje ile ya juu? Ni bottom up. Ni bottom up. Hebu nione wala wanasema ni bottom up, tuanze na chini.
All eyes are now on Jubilee's top brass to enforce their threats, Ruto and his allies publicly declaring their allegiance to the rival UDA. Well, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya now says the ODM party will soon be making a big announcement. This as the party received defectors from the United Democratic Alliance in Kisii County. And as Paul Kirobi now reports, the Ford Kenya party now says it will support ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi's presidential bid ahead of next year's general election.
Plans to form a coalition between Jubilee and ODM party are still on course. ODM Deputy Party Leader and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has hinted that the Jubilee and ODM parties will make a big announcement very soon to strengthen their merger ahead of 2022 polls.
If we have to succeed this time round, all parties that are coming into a coalition must agree on a joint nomination, so that within the coalition, we have only one candidate.
The ruling Jubilee party has begun putting its house in order, with the party officials vowing to crack the whip on errant members. Meanwhile, the ODM party has received 40 defectors from the United Democratic Alliance in all the 9 constituencies of Kisii County.
Hapa tuko na viongozi youths kutoka kaunti mzima ya Kisii. wote wametoka kutoka maeneo wakilishi 9. Hawa ni viongozi wa vijana ambao wamekuwa wakifanya kazi na chama cha UDA. Wameamua kwa kauli moja watajiunga na chama cha ODM.
Nataka tuwakaribishe katika chama cha ODM, na hii ni event ambayo imekuwa mzuri sana, na tunashukuru wakaaji wa Kisii County kwamba nyinyi nyote kwa mkono, hii runinga ndio ione, tuone kwamba tuko katika chama cha ODM. Hebu weka mkono juu ndiposa tuone.
Elsewhere, Likuyani Member of Parliament Dr. Enoch Kibunguchi says the Ford Kenya Party will not field a presidential candidate in the 2022 elections and will instead back ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi's presidential bid.
Sisi tutaunga mkono Mheshimiwa Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi kama presidential candidate. Hiyo ni kitu nataka tulete watu wetu pamoja. Kwa maana kwa muda mrefu wamesema Waluya wanagawanyika, lakini this time tumesema kama watu wa Ford Kenya, we shall take one step back, alafu tumuunge ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi aende mbele, awe kinara.
Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Well, a day after TV47 highlighted the plight of Ruth Lopei, who has a mental disorder and who was locked up in a maze store by her family, well-wishers and the county government of Trans Nzoia have come to her rescue. Our reporter Boniface Barasa has the details.
The story of Ruth Lopei, the woman with a mental disorder, who was locked up in a maze store, raising many concerns of safety, which turned out to be a blessing. The Kitale County Hospital dispatched a team of medical personnel who visited the homestead to ascertain the problem. Mafumbo Zedrick is a psychiatric.
Tumeweza kuangalia kwa ana matatizo ya kiakili ambayo anaweza saidika akiweza kupata matibabu, na pia kuweza kutembea hospitali mara kwa mara itamsaidia aweze kuishi maisha yake kwa njia ambayo inastahili.
Several well-wishers, including Lilian Sioi Chebet, who is a woman leader, visited the victim and donated bedding and foodstuffs to the family and called for the arrest of men who are responsible for impregnating the woman.
Tumeona hali ambayo iko hapa ukweli ni ya kutatanisha, kwa sababu msichana wetu huyu alikuwa amefungiwa kwa store, mahali ambapo analala yeye pamoja na mtoto wake. Kwa hivyo tumekuja kusimama na familia, tumewaletea blanketi, tumeona hali ambayo mtoto alikuwa mahali ambapo alikuwa analala si mahali pazuri, tumeleta pia vyakula kidogo, na tungependa pia kusimama na Ministry of Health kuhakikisha kwa huyu msichana anapata matibabu na aweze kurudia hali yake ya kawaida.
As of now, Ruth Lopei and her daughter have been admitted at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret for further assessment and proper medication. The move comes in handy for the family.
Mimi sasa nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya hii nafasi. Nyinyi kukuja kusaidia mimi kwa sababu nimeteseka na huyu msichana yangu hii. Nashukuru, nataka mnisaidie kama serikali apate kupona.
Saa hii tuko tumefungwa kwa store. Nina imani ya kwamba anaenda kupona na kuja kukaa na sisi mzuri jinsi tunakaa. Daktari mali huko, Dr. Masibo, pokea baraka yetu katika jina la Yesu.
On his part, Kitale County Referral Hospital Medical Superintendent Dr. Sami Masibo said the county government will cater for medication cost for the victim as well enlist her in NHIF medical cover.
Ruth sasa ameshughulikiwa. Tukiongea hivi ameenda Eldoret kwa matibabu zaidi, na hospitali itagharamia matibabu hayo. Na tungependa kuhakikisha kwamba Ruth pia amepata ile bima ya NHIF, kwa sababu serikali pia inafaa kuangalia mambo ya universal health coverage. Kwa hivyo Ruth tunataka tuhakikisha kwamba amepata bima na iweze kumkidhi mahitaji yake ya kimatibabu. Ningependa pia kushukuru TV47. Manake bila hao pengine hatungejua kwamba kuna msichana mali anateseka hivi anateseka.
The concern by residents is to have the woman treated and be put on a permanent family planning method.
The move is a sigh of relief for Ruth Lopei as it grants her another chapter to hope for the best under the care of medics. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Marambachi location in Saboti Sub-County, Trans Nzoia County.
Well, hope at last indeed. Thank you, Boniface Barasa, for that report. It is time to take our first commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
You are watching TV 46.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording. But anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Lady CLC Nighting with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro?
Have a sister? Give me your sister. I show you how these things are done.
So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV 47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males or alpha females in the society.
Tunaweza tumia hii nje tutresi hiyo do. Mimi naitwa Ben. Mimi ndo rafiki ya babako.
Tumeleta dozi zako, usimize mtoto.
And now we have to deal with a drug addict.
Yaani ulio mzai wako. I had to.
Sema! Dozi zangu ziko wapi?
Ben! Tuishini Uganda.
Alright, welcome back. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is TV47 News Tonight. Now, the enhanced voter registration exercise will continue after the High Court in Eldoret declined to lift an order prohibiting the IEBC from ending the exercise. The court has, however, warned IEBC against disobeying court orders, as Elizabeth Ochieng now reports.
Kenya's perennial love for the last-minute rush has not motivated them to enlist as voters, at least according to the target set by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. In Meru County, the commission witnessed a low voter registration turnout at 27.3%. According to Meru County IEBC Supervisor Macharia Gishishi, the electoral body had targeted to register 160,000 people within a period of 30 days. However, only 44,243 have been registered.
Vijana wengi bado wameshikilia ile waiting card. Tumekuwa na wao kwa mashinani, wanajitokeza na zile waiting cards. Lakini kisheria hatuwezi tukatumia hiyo. Tunastahili tu tutumie ile original national ID card. Kwa hivyo wengi wako na hizo waiting cards. Alafu tena kule kwa vitambulisho mingi zimelala kule.
In Nandi County, the county election manager Catherine Bulinde has raised concerns over the low number of voter turnout in the area. Catherine says they have so far managed to register 32,170 voters. According to IEBC data, Mosop constituency is leading at 48%, followed by Aldai and Nandi Hills at 42%. Tinderet has recorded 40%, while Chesumei and Mgwen Ward have recorded 36% and 35% respectively.
Maybe with the 7 days added, we might cross over to 50+1. That is, we might cross over at their half, hopefully.
However, in Narok County, IEBC officers were forced to extend the working hours due to the high turnout witnessed in the last 2 days. Records from IEBC show that Narok has registered a total of 33,340 from a target of 78,000. Narok North constituency is currently leading with 6,845 new voters, followed by Narok West with 6,804, while Narok East constituency has recorded the least with only 2,638 newly registered voters.
We are seeing people coming. You can see from my background there is a good number, and they are still trooping in. Like yesterday we closed late because there was a very huge number. So at Huduma Center the number has just increased towards the end, but at the beginning the number was not that good.
Eldoret High Court Judge Eric Ogola has today adjourned the petition to extend the deadline filed by Patrick Cherono due to poor internet connection. The judge, however, ordered IEBC to obey the court order on extension of the voter registration exercise to the 9th of November 2021.
Therefore, it seems to me that the best option is to allow both parties to be substantively heard on the application before any decision can be made. I therefore allow Mr. Nabasanga's application for adjournment, and accordingly, the application will be heard tomorrow physically in court at 11:30 a.m.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for that report. A father, mother, and their 2 daughters have perished following a road accident on the Nairobi-Nakuru Road in Limuru, Kiambu County. 77-year-old William Kamau, his 63-year-old wife Jen Njoki, and their daughters Rhoda Njeri and Evelyn Waithera, aged 40 and 37 respectively, all died after their car collided head-on with a matatu on Monday evening at Njira Yangenia in Limuru. The 4 were going to attend a kin's burial in Nakuru. A male relative in the same car survived with serious injuries. He is receiving treatment at PCA Kikuyu Hospital. The 4 bodies have been moved to Mentozuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home.
Mzigo ambao tuko nao ni mzigo mkubwa kwa sababu pale ambapo panafikia ati mnapumzisha watu 4, kwa hakika ni mzigo mkubwa, lakini tunaamini Mungu akiwa mbele, tukishikana na kifamilia pamoja na watu na marafiki zetu, mzigo tutaweza kuchukua na kuhakikisha hawa wapendwa wetu wamepumzika vilivyo.
Well, may the families of the victims find comfort during these trying moments. Chief Justice Martha Koome has said the judiciary is considering dedicating special courts to handle gender-based violence cases. Speaking during a consultative meeting with women leaders from different sectors, Chief Justice Koome said it is extremely sad that many GBV victims walk in and out of courts year in and year out without getting an ounce of justice for violations committed against them. GBV cases were reported to have rapidly increased over the past 1 year due to the occurrence of the COVID-19 pandemic.
In a big way. It is FINDA that made me who I am. It is FINDA that sharpened all the rough edges that I came with from Kevio Village. Well, so much FINDA because you made me who I am. We just, our mom there also, Justice F.A. Owo, our trailblazers. That building, when there was even no toilet for a woman, because this, what we are calling Supreme Court, we used to call it the law court. actually, we were making very conscious decision to look out for the boys, men applying to be resident magistrates. The women were over 80%, and we were looking for the 30%. But we are that deliberate ourselves. We will never allow, we will never breach the 2/3 gender rule. We will always be very, very conscious. Allow me also to celebrate the strong men who support women, especially the men in this congregation. My brother, Dr. Justice Mkinonja, Demori, and all the other brothers, including those who are not here today, including my very own Kome, who has lived with me for the last 8 years. When I went to Parliament for the interview, because I got married very early, and they were asking me, why aren't you not even properly educated? I asked them, why? You didn't do very well. You didn't have a first class. And I asked them, do you know what it means to hold a baby, breastfeed a baby with one hand and write a term paper with the other, and cook for a husband, wash his shirts, and cook for the in-laws who have also come to visit? They don't care whether you are a student. They kept quiet. I did those things, but I don't do them anymore. So, my brothers and sisters, it's really a great celebration that we have lived to see this happen. And even for it to happen, I still have to thank you, my sisters. I had no courage when the advertisement for the Chief Justice was made. And we sat as women judges, and Justice Okwengo will affirm to this. We were at New Stanley, and one of us went round asking, are you putting pen to paper to apply for the position of the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court judge? And everybody said no. And when it was my turn, I put my hand down in sadness. When I checked around, our very own DCJ was not applying. Our Supreme Court judge, Justice Joki, who gave our apology for today, was also not applying. All the judges, senior judges in the High Court were not applying. Not a single woman judge was ready to put under marriage. But one Sunday afternoon, I was visited by my dear friend Nancy Barasa and my sister Martha Karua. No wonder people cannot make a difference between Martha Kome and Martha Karua. That doesn't bother me. We are twins. So they came to my house and were joined by some other ladies. And all they did was to insist that I am going to apply for that position. And I argued with them relentlessly. The way applying for that job is like swimming in a sewer. You will just come out so muddy, and I will not get the job. Why are you telling me to do this? And we argued, and you cannot win a case with these feeder women. They insisted that I should apply. And because I gave them an undertaking and I'm a woman of honor, I applied for the position. So, like we have been advised, let us be relentless in seeking for these positions whenever they become available. Because that came to pass. I went through the interview, and now I've been the Chief Justice for the last 5 months. I have found tremendous support from my colleagues, from the Supreme Court, from the Court of Appeal, in the High Court, in the magistracy. They have all supported me. And FINDA, everybody.
Well, that story on curbing GBV, rather gender-based violence, takes us to our second commercial break. but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording, but anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Lady CLC Nighting with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro?
Have a sister, give me your sister. I show you how these things are done.
So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males for alpha females in the society.
Does that mean it you do? Mimi naitwa Ben, mimi ndo rafiki ya babako.
Tumeleta dozi zako usimize mtoto.
And now we have to deal with a drug addict.
Yaani ulio mzai wako. I had to.
Sema! Dozi zangu ziko wapi?
Ben! Tuisheni Uganda.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher and trickier with each passing day.
Na wawache kuja kutuletea makasiriko.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
Nonetheless, you have justified your change of stance.
It's my bloody personal politics.
Tell them this. They could have gone to do law so that they become judges. They do not have the capacity, training, or skill to interpret a court order.
As a journalist, you have also had occasion to actually do some research. Read the judgment of
the nature of our job to have. The question is very specific.
Listen to me,
my question is very specific.
Every Monday at
Welcome back. You're watching TV47 News Tonight. The British government now says that all soldiers involved in the murder of a Kenyan woman 9 years ago in Nanyuki will be extradited to face prosecution under Kenyan criminal justice. Addressing a press conference at Nyati Barracks in Nanyuki, UK Defence Minister James Heappey said that the British government will leave no stone unturned and will ensure justice is served to the family of Agnes Wanjiru. Her body was found in a septic tank 2 months ago at Lions Court Hotel after her killers left the country.
We want those responsible to be brought to justice because Agnes and her family have already had to wait too long for these cases to be resolved. We need that now to be investigated and brought to the courts here in Kenya as quickly as possible, and any further allegations that come to light will be dealt with the same urgency on our part. No, I haven't, but I think that it would be entirely appropriate for somebody from the British mission here in Kenya to do that. If I had the time in my program, I think I would. I think that it is perfectly possible. In fact, I think it's important for the UK government to show our solidarity with Agnes's family, our belief that she has a right to justice, her daughter has a right to justice, and I think it's perfectly possible that we can meet without prejudicing the case and without admitting culpability. The Secretary of State for Defence has been clear that if the investigation leads to charges against a British service person, that he will make sure that the Kenyan investigation and legal proceedings are fully supported. I have to be honest with you and say I'm not immediately clear right now on the arrangements for extradition between the UK and Kenya, but absolutely everybody in the UK government is aware of how Agnes's case has affected the Kenyan public, and we want you to know that we take that very seriously. We want justice to be done for her. And the businesses that you support really value it. Now that is a balance. That doesn't mean that I take Agnes's case any less seriously. It is my top priority right now. We need to get things moving with the investigation, and the UK MOD needs to make sure that we're providing all of the information necessary. But I would also say to my parliamentary colleagues here in Kenya that they need to listen to the business people.
Well, still on the corridors of justice, the Law Society of Kenya has moved to court to have missing Nairobi lawyer Hassan Nandwa and ex-terror convict Elgiva Bwire produced in court. Hassan Nandwa was representing terror convict Elgiva Bwire and went missing under mysterious circumstances. The petition filed by the Law Society of Kenya through a UN company advocate is to be served upon the Attorney General, Director of Public Prosecutions, Inspector General of Police and Safaricom Limited, with all parties expected to be present in court for the hearing. Well, 5 people have died following the outbreak of Kalazaa in Tharaka Nithi County. 33 others continue to receive treatment in hospital, as Willie Dennis Njiru now reports.
The outbreak has affected residents of Kadhangasini, Twandanjo and Gatunga, with 33 others hospitalized.
Tumbo ilikuwa namna hii. Hii sati kwanza ilikuwa imejaa. Nikivaa koti unaonekana hii mtu ako na kitambi, lakini ugonjwa sio kitambi. Na hii mkono ilikuwa na mizizi sijui kama nini. Na kuzigusa hivi na zikuna. Sijui sina ni nini.
Nimepata dawa sababu sikuwa nakula saa hiyo. Sikuwa napata hata ya kula.
At Sekuru in Kitui County, 6 patients have been treated and discharged, as 5 are still under medication at the same facility.
Mari kunaambiwa iko ugonjwa hakuna, nikaambiwa nipanyiwe kipimo ya karasa. Alafu hiyo kipimo ya karasa nikaambiwa ni 15,200. Nami sikuwa na hiyo pesa. Mbuzi niliuza yote, nikaanza kukula mandeni na bado sijalipa, alafu nikaona basi nirudi nyumbani nikatafute pesa.
The infectious disease is caused by Leishmania parasite spread by sandflies, and with no facilities in the region to cater for it, patients are forced to seek treatment at neighboring counties of Kitui, Meru, Embu and Isiolo.
Tangu wakati tuanzishwe na hizo ninio maugonjwa ya Kalazaa, tumekuwa ni kama tumepotezwa na watu wetu wengi.
Ugonjwa umeshika watu wengi na wamefanya maskini, na wengine wenye wakuwa wamejua wamekufa hata wakati huu sasa.
The Ministry of Health will be conducting a healthcare workers training on treatment of the disease from November 8 from all health centers in the region.
Waende watuletee hospitali ile ambapo, kwa sababu watu wengi hata wakuonjeka, wengi wao wale wa kwanza walikuwa wanaenda Isiolo, siku hizi wanabebwa hapa, kuna wengine wanaenda Ukambani huko. Sasa ikiwezekana kama serikali inaweza kuweza, pengine inaweza tuletea hizo maneno.
For TV47, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Well, away from that, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pointed out that 759 million people have no access to electricity around the globe, with 3 billion not having access to pure, clean cooking energy. Addressing various heads of state during the ongoing Glasgow Climate Change Conference 2021, President Kenyatta recommended that nations create new clean energy technologies that meet the rising demand for energy across the globe.
Kenya recognizes the value and the interconnectedness between energy, climate change, and people, and the critical role of achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, as well as the Paris Agreement on climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, demand for energy is on the rise, and there are 759 million people in the world who today have no access to electricity, while 3 billion people do not have access to clean cooking fuels and technologies. At the same time, the energy sector accounts for 3/4 of greenhouse gas emissions, and the critical challenge, therefore, is how to reduce carbon emissions from the energy sector while ensuring that all people have access to clean energy. We therefore need urgently to develop new clean energy technologies that meet the energy demand without exacerbating greenhouse gas emissions. We in Kenya have made significant progress in advancing access to affordable and clean energy for all. And in this regard, we have increased access to electricity from below 30% in 2013 to over 75% in 2020.
And Kenya has beefed up security along its northern border following the declaration of a state of emergency by Ethiopia. Civilians in Addis Ababa have been urged to prepare to defend their territory amid fears that Tigray rebels were heading for the capital. Meanwhile, the United Nations says all sides fighting in the conflict in Ethiopia's northern region of Tigray committed violations that may amount to war crimes. The report accuses all sides of torturing and killing civilians, carrying out gang rapes, and making arrests on the basis of ethnicity.
To the Tigray conflict have committed violations of international human rights, humanitarian and refugee law. Some of these may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. Civilians in Tigray have been subjected to brutal violence and suffering. The Joint Investigation Team uncovered numerous violations and abuses, including unlawful killings and extrajudicial executions, torture, sexual and gender-based violence, violations against refugees, and forced displacement of civilians.
Well, away from that, let's get back to the capital here in Nairobi. Nairobi Acting Governor Anne Kananu has once again been invited to appear before the Senate committee on Wednesday next week after she snubbed a similar committee meeting today. Kananu was expected to shed more light on the 794 payments which were made to advocates under her name.
In a heated debate in the Senate Devolution Committee, senators wondered how Nairobi Acting Governor Anne Kananu snubbed the committee without even an apology.
In certain matters. Indeed, today, we did not come to accuse the governor of Nairobi of any wrongdoing. What we are discussing is her contempt. Because if we come with clean hands, and if we come to act as a bridge between her and the Senate, the least she could have done was to tender apologies through the office of the clerk. And so I think for us the key thing here is contempt. We have not gotten to the substance of the issues that were raised by Senator Manga.
Many counties actually are doing this to pilferage public funds. We have a client on the table already, that is Ms. Agnes Kananu, who by her very actions today, Anne Kananu, who by her very actions today confirms that there is something she's hiding. That's why she chose to run away instead of coming to explain herself before the Republic of Kenya through its representatives here today.
Say here, it is not about Nairobi County and the acting governor. It is not about the individual of the acting governor. We've seen this across with governors from all the counties, the CSs, and other institutions when there's someone don't show up. We need to send a message. We can't, as a Senate, be barking all the time. We have to show that we can bite. And it is not for this Senate. We're going to the elections very soon. There are going to be other senators here. The institution of the Senate has to be respected. This is the time we have to send a message as a committee and representatives of the Senate.
Kananu was expected to appear before the committee to shed light on payment of 795 million shillings made to various law firms which represented the county in courts, senators fearing this could be a new model for counties to embezzle public funds.
Regarding the alleged illegal payment of legal fees to outsourced law firms by the Nairobi City County Government. In the statement, the senators sought the following information: an outline of the reasons for paying law firms a total of 795 million out of the county's allocation of 2.5 billion meant for clearance of pending bills in 2018-2019, a statement on whether documentary evidence was availed by the law firms to support the payments made by Nairobi City County Government, and a statement on progress made by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on investigations of the legal fees paid to lawyers for services by the Nairobi City County Government during the 2018-2019 financial year.
Further, senators wondered how the acting governor would touch pending bills budget, despite of the county leading with huge pending bills.
One thing that does not concern Nairobi County alone is something that cuts across. Even as we listen to this Nairobi issue, we should also collectively look at other counties and bring this matter to rest. Nairobi, I think, owes us a pending bill of almost 59 billion. That's a lot of money. And looking at the money that is going to the legal council, that is also a lot of money. So we need figures. All we need is figures, facts, and then dates.
Also to set precedents that when you invited here, there will be no additional time for you to come. And if it's true she was not in office during 2018-2019, and I think that should be the best reason as to why she ought to be here today. Because if there were mistakes that happened then, she was not the governor, and therefore she could not be responsible. There is something that we also need to state strongly, Mr. Chair. And you see, we don't play politics here.
Legal, not just from an act of parliament, constitutional oversight responsibility of a Nairobi County government. The fact that the NMS boss is not here, the county government acting governor Ann Kananu is not here, is a serious contempt. But Mr. Chair, because we do not know reason, so that we don't appear to be a committee that acts, that only praises all the time the nuclear buttons.
Not giving up on the matter, the committee has yet again invited Kananu to appear before the committee in 7 days' time. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47.
Well, it is time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports, and our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening, Dennis. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, good evening to you too, Musa Salah. Now tonight, we will be telling you about the Commonwealth Games Queen's Baton. We shall also be telling you about the results registered in the FKF Premier League. Now, this and more coming up. And it's time for the sports news with me, Dennis Otieno. Now, let's start off from the athletics front. And First Lady Margaret Kenyatta officially opened preparations of Team Kenya Athletics taking part in the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games after receiving the Queen's Baton.